Alright, hello everyone, and now welcome to a game between Ling and Romantic here on Last Refuge. Thank you everyone for tuning in. I am trying to, I will be streaming hopefully more consistently during the academic school year, as my schedule should be able to allow me to do that. I've been trying to stream during odd hours and off hours and haven't really been able to become consistent, and therefore, and haven't been able to enjoy the Twitch community nearly as much. I want to thank the Twitch community, all 5 of you right now. Quite nice to see you. Nice to see you, Shocky Shocks. Thanks for tuning in as we're looking into an Undead versus human matchup. We'll see if it will be. What do you think? Any chances on a Dreadlord? I don't know. Dreadlord first has become, well, I wouldn't say a common strategy, but a viable strategy, but mainly it is still Death Knight as the go-to hero combination. Alright, Death Knight coming out from the Undead. I don't think that surprises anyone. Archmage coming in from Romantic. Once again, no big surprises. Now, Romantic versus Ling, Archmage versus Undead. Building orders and timing all look fairly solid and tight. We are going to be going in for an Arcane Tower, making sure that the Rod of Necromancy, the harassment, doesn't come in too strong. And, well, what are Romantic's options at this point and stage in the game? Now, Last Refuge is a map where it's a little bit difficult to try and actually militia creep out this creep camp here. It is a little bit further than you would like, and because of the shortened militia time, well, it isn't really that common. Now, we may see a militia creeping clear out of the merchant shop, or not the merchant shop, or at least 1 or 2 of these locations here. You're kind of rotating the militia so that you can clear out, get the Archmage to level 2 very quickly, and then from there, using that little bit of extra gold, try to press some sort of tech advantage. Now the Archmage is making its way over, and he wants to perhaps catch that Death Knight. Oh, there is the Death Knight launching a long distance Death Coil, and Ling straight with the Death Coil, no question about it, just wanted to deal a lot of damage, and while regenerating a bit of mana. Archmage is actually playing a little bit of a dangerous game here. Got to be careful. You don't want to be trading fireballs or blows on that Archmage. The Archmage really is the one that wants to be trying to creep, but you also want to put enough damage onto the Death Knight where the Death Knight cannot feel comfortable creeping. Death Knight back at home, you can see him already teching the tier 2, and this is a normal strategy for the Undead. Undead knows that that at Tech 2 with Crypt Fiends, with Lich, all of a sudden their jump in the power level of their army just grows so quickly. One thing that is strange though is that Ling is still sitting at 20/20 supply. He has not finished, or he delayed that Ziggurat to get a very fast tech to tier 2. Meanwhile, Ling, what is he going to do here? He's going to get another Rod of Necromancy charge, get 2 more skeletal minions, as the Archmage now comes back around and says, you know what, I may just get a whole bunch of damage on this Death Knight again. The militia, you can already take a look, already down to half life right there. More footmen are going to be joining out on the fight. There is a water elemental militia may try to clear out this creep camp, trying to just spread apart all of this as much as possible. Is this going to be possible? Death Knight with full mana may be able to get off a Death Coil. Oh, nope, Archmage gets the experience. Who's going to get the item? That is the follow-up question now. As you can take a look, Death Knight is going to basically have a field day with so many low hit point targets. There goes, one peasant has been lost, but I think that's been at the hands of some other units there. Skeletal minions going after another Archmage, trying to deny. Archmage purposely saying, you know what, I'm sorry, peasants, you've been doing a lot of hard work, but I need to finish things up here, as the peasants are going to be jumping in and outside of this gold mine there. More units just trying to get away, getting denied once again. Romantic trying to finish off the remainder of these skeletal minions, making sure that no more free experience is going to be available to them. Perhaps a town hall will be built, and with that, this is pretty much your standard Undead versus human game. Human going to be setting up an expansion. This expansion is a little bit delayed compared to normal. We have a faster tech to tier 2 by Ling, and that faster tech to tier 2 with the Lich will allow the Death Knight and the Lich to get to level 3 and level 2 before they push on out. Follow it up with a Slaughterhouse with that Obsidian statue, and this is going to be some solid play once we get into the mid game. Human cannot really afford to venture out too far. He's invested too much time, energy, and gold into that expansion, and until it's reached some sort of safe, stabilizing point, he can end up losing it and then just pretty much lose that investment far too quickly. However, what is the Death Knight and this Crypt Fiend army going to do? It looks like he wants to try and put some pressure down. He doesn't want to give Romantic the chance to level up the Archmage to level 4 though. If the Archmage gets up to level 4, the Arcane Sanctums, as we should be looking at a tech to tier 2 relatively quickly. Still surprised that Romantic hasn't started saving up a little bit of lumber yet. Once we see that tech to tier 2, the dual Arcane Sanctum, and the Archmage with level 2 Brilliance Aura, well, all of those casters are just that much more powerful. Lich now making their way over. Big Frost Nova coming down, trying to deny there, but well, the Death Knight getting the final blows and kills there once more. You saw the power shift. All of a sudden, that Lich shows up to the party and says, you know what, I'm going to slow you down. If you thought you were slow throwing up those shields using Defend, watch how it feels when you're encased in a little bit of ice as well. Alright, Water Elementals could get, well, slowed up here in just a moment. Let's take a look at Skeletal Minion, unable to get the last blow there. Archmage with the denial. Meanwhile, back off over here, the Arcane Tower. Oh, Lich now being forced to back off. The Arcane Tower was constructed, completed. Lich lost a large bit of mana, which means that, well, the Frost Novas are not gonna be as plentiful. Unlike the previous matchup where we saw, well, a level 3 Frost Nova very fast, level 1 just doesn't deal enough damage to really slow down this army as of yet. There is no tech to tier 3. We are going into Obsidian statues, and we should be looking at the tech to tier 2, yes, by Romantic. Alright, non-stop action in this game so far. So much denial. Obsidian statues should be able to turn the tide of this particular battle. Death Knight getting in a Death Coil there, and unfortunately unable to finish off the units. That Lich really needs to focus down some of those units, but Romantic, hats off to him. He is doing a very good job making sure that that he's pulling back those lower hit point units. Footman unable to, well, get finished off. That Defend, well, doing what it's supposed to do, reducing all of that piercing damage. And what we're going to see is Romantic just retreat back and at some point have about 5 to 7 footmen who are all low on hit points use a Scroll of Regeneration and have it all recovered rather nicely. Lich now looking to pull back here down to 112 hit points. You can see an extra little bit of mana there. Romantic pulling back another low hit point footman here. The Crypt Fiends that are, well, lower on hit points also being pulled back as well. You can take a look at this, but I think Romantic is actually going a little bit too far now. The footman army is far too small, and all the Lich needs to do is land one Frost Nova here, and all of a sudden things are going to go sideways very quickly. Death Coil finishes off a unit. Death Knight sitting at level 2. Water Elemental trying to split back up the other way. Romantic needs time to heal back all of these low hit point footmen, as he's not going to be able to re-engage with them, and that is the problem. He chased a little bit too far now, and at this point, unless he gets this Lich kill, it may end up becoming a tipping point. Romantic may end up losing a footman here. Let's see, a little bit more damage getting added in. Crypt Fiends are now going to make their way over, perhaps try to take down the scout towers before they are done. There goes one tower. Another scout tower could get taken down. Lich has plenty of mana. Are we going to see a Frost Nova? As you can see, that guard tower is now being massively repaired. It does have heavy armor now, so it no longer takes bonus damage from the piercing. However, the 2 remaining towers are going to be repaired pretty regularly now to try and stay alive. Death Knight, well, low hit point Crypt Fiend. You're going to see the Demolisher, Meat Wagon join in on the fight, getting in some extra damage, and Romantic may end up losing this expansion. He needs this time to heal all of his units, as I said earlier, and he really pressed a little bit too far forward. Now he doesn't have anything. He didn't have the time to heal back up his units. Pressure is being placed on his expansion, and it could end up being lost. Archmage makes a run on through. No real luck there. He's going to try and take down that meat wagon. There is an acolyte in here as well, and well, the acolyte is trying to repair that meat wagon. Let's take a look back across over here. No Frost Nova. The meat wagon will get taken down, but at what cost? As well, so many low hit point footmen trying to race across every which way. Death Knight could get a Death Coil off onto the Crypt Fiends, keeps that unit alive again. Meanwhile, the Death Knight needs to finish off more of these units continually. There goes another footman once more, as you're taking a look at the Acolyte, perhaps trying to repair this Obsidian statue, as the Obsidian statues are just dancing around every which way. Footman about to get taken down. There it goes. Well, there it goes finally, as the Death Knight, now at level 3 with level 2 Death Coil, should be able to keep these units pretty much alive and well much more easily. Alright, Mountain King shows up to the party. Stormbolt's a little bit late, but still going to be able to finish it off, trading a Crypt Fiend right there. Lich joins back in on the fight. Archmage sitting at level 3 still. He has not really gained any extra mana or any extra experience, as I mentioned earlier. Meanwhile, Mountain King showed up to the party. Immediate impact was felt, just like when the Lich joined in on the fight, as the, well, Mountain King has to be very careful as well. Obsidian statue now looking to try to get away. 3 Obsidian statues out onto the field, and well, they are far enough back to where the Archmage cannot easily pick off units. However, going to lose a meat wagon in transition. Oh my gosh, okay, never mind. Meat Wagon somehow stays alive, was down to 14 hit points, down to 15 hit points. Frost Nova onto the footman, but the Water Elemental still got that final blow off. 52 supply compared to 36. Romantic is in trouble. If he loses this expansion, this is pretty much going to be the complete turning point. He needs to somehow hold on to some advantage. If he does give this up, what advantage could he try and establish? He's actually going to get to tier 3 first. Alright, Romantic is now already at tier 3. He could get a Paladin first and have the immediate impact of a very strong Paladin out onto the field. He is now trying to even up in terms of overall supply. Let's take a look. Death Coil onto the Mountain King. We're going to take a look at the Meat Wagon, trying to finish off, deal more damage perhaps, as the Meat Wagon really has nowhere to run. Meat Wagon down to 14 hit points, finally falls at the hands of the Archmage. The Archmage's range auto attack really has been the real tipping point, or the real bothersome part of this entire army. As you're going to take a look, Crypt Fiends looking to finish off many of those peasants now. Alright, peasants are falling. Death Knight is at 3. Archmage and Mountain King just holding back here, perhaps trying to see if any reinforcements are going to be coming in. Meanwhile, back across here, we are going into Knights and Sundering Blades. Dual barracks, Knights and Sundering Blades, to try and shut down these Crypt Fiends. Knights show up onto the field, and this has got to be a little bit of a concern. Lich is now seen at level 3. Militia now going to join in on the fight as well. Knights with those Sundering Blades do deal bonus damage to normal or medium armor units, and that's exactly what we needed to see. Those Crypt Fiends are going to end up falling much faster, and well, their faster movement speed allows them to deal that damage. You can see a little bit of a nice glow on that attack there, showing the Sundering Blades as they're trying to push their way through. Mountain King still sitting at level 1, as we're going to take a look at a Crypt Fiend, well, playing whack-a-mole with those Crypt Fiends, as they do in fact burrow. Alright, Mountain King staying alive, Archmage, Paladin, all 3 of these units continuing to try and push. Another beautiful burrow in time, no reveal, and that is the problem. Paladin falls at level 1. Knights are dealing damage, but they're not finishing off. Stormbolt onto a Crypt Fiend. Death Coil is in time. Frost Nova or Frost Armor wasn't onto the Crypt Fiend, instead onto the Death Knight, thereby not allowing the Crypt Fiend to be saved. Staff of Sanctuary saves that unit there. Meanwhile, Militia, all these units are pulling back once again. Crypt Fiends unburrow themselves and will live to fight another day. Romantic needs to regroup himself. The Paladin resurrection is going to be quick. Mountain King will get healed back up as well. Only experience, only experience given was from that Mountain King. Let's take a look. Do we have Animal War training as well? No Animal War training. Surprisingly, we already have 4 Knights out onto the field. And, well, it's important to note that giving upgrades in WarCraft 3 is different than StarCraft 2, because if you can ensure that a unit doesn't die, the denial of experience is is also a factor that you have to account for. Some people say, you know what, it only makes sense at that break-even point, the more of that particular unit that you have. That is absolutely true, but then you also have to consider taxation. Right now, Romantic, if he had one less knight and had finished animal war training, that would probably be a much better position for him to be in. All right, Lich now at 4. Death Knight now at 4. Paladin is at 1. Let's take a look. Unholy Aura right there. Where is the Paladin? Paladin is running in the back. No experience on him whatsoever. Archmage finally clearing out of this top creep camp. Going to be going after this Troll High Priest. Troll High Priest should drop extremely quickly because of all of that damage, or because of the Sundering Blades. Meanwhile, back off to the north, Destroyers are out onto the field, finishing off this expansion here. At this point, Romantic knows I cannot really afford to try and take that out. Hello, Xenosum. How are you doing? Mountain King is at level 2. Paladin shouldn't be too... Well, he is actually very far behind. Flying Machines are out onto the field, and, well, they are starting to get massed up. We have peasants trying to make their way away. Let's take a look. Destroyers actually getting pecked apart a little bit by these flying machines. Flying machines 18 to 19 damage piercing. But you got to be careful here. You cannot fly next to those Crypt Fiends. Crypt Fiends could have webbed down some of those units. And now in comes the fight. All right, Knights are coming across here. Peasants, are we going to see some repairing? Yes, repairing now underway. The Town Hall still alive somehow. Wow. Scroll of Town Portal picked them up right after that Town Hall was lost. Beautiful timing there as Ling sets up an expansion of his own. Archmage is at 4. Mountain King is at 2, has Wand of the Wind, and now timing is going to be key here. When can you really look to deal damage? Flying Machines trying to push their way through. Knight taking a brunt of that Frost Nova, also negative armor from that Orb of Corruption. Maybe that should be Staff of Sanctuary away as one Crypt Fiend gets pulled back. Staff of Sanctuary saves Romantic, still diving in very deep into enemy territory. This is always really scary as a human player trying to dive deep onto Blight, since the healing is just so strong. Archmage looking to finish off more units there. Mountain King unable to do anything right there. Are we going to see a death of Holy Light? Saves Mountain King, turn back around, take down that unit. Well, there it goes, but is it going to be enough? No, it is not. No Staff of Sanctuary save there, as all the units are retreating back, trying to rebuild that expansion. More Flying Machines getting added back in as well. Death Knight, Lich, level 4, going up against a level 4 Archmage, a level 2 Mountain King, and a soon-to-be level 2 Paladin. So, and I believe, well, these Death Knight may get to level 5. Lich will probably stay at level 4. Wow, nope, I was wrong. 25 experience shy. Nothing a 5-3-3 creep camp can't handle, though. Paladin gets up to level 2, as I mentioned earlier, as the Flying Machines want to find some easy destroyers. All right, one destroyer out onto the field, 2-0 upgrades. Devotion or how's there extra armor? Devotion Aura on that Death Knight. Level 5 now on the Death Knight as well. Meanwhile, Necropolis is here, and Ling has an expansion. All right, Undead with a hidden expansion that is always, or an unknown expansion that is always rather scary. Flying Machines coming across, finding all of these units here. Knights now making their way over a handful of quick webs as well. There goes a Dark Ritual taking down one of those units. Knights still trying to chase after. Are we going to see a Stormbolt onto a Crypt Fiend? And then perhaps the follow-up Sundering Knights. No such luck there either. Flying Machines are looking for those units, and they are chasing after and diving after extremely quickly, but unable to keep up with the remaining units. All right, Mountain King sitting at level 2. Let's take a look. Death Knight comes back the other way. Flying Machines could try and re-engage here in just a moment. What is going on? Romantic, unsure of whether he should be attacking the creeps or attacking the undead army. All right, Null Overseer down to 304 hit points. Orb of Fire right and still under effects there. Death Knight now making its way back over. Let's take a look. Fly Machine could try and poke this apart as we now see the Lich get up to level 5. Once again, all right, Null Overseer down to 313 hit points. A Death Coil would easily finish it off. Crypt Fiend, one attack followed by a Death Coil to get a little bit of gold at this point. No experience will be given as both heroes are at level 5. Archmage sitting at level 4. This expansion still undiscovered by Romantic. Meanwhile, Knights going after the Rock Golem creep camp here. Archmage, Mountain King, and Paladin. I do not believe any of them will be leveling up here. Mountain King, perhaps the closest one to get to the next level. Actually, yeah, no, he might actually be able to level up here. Yeah, well, yep, last creep gets to level 3. And with that, level 2 Stormbolt is now on the table. Level 2 Stormbolt could change things up, the extra bit of damage, offsetting, and also the Archmage's Orb of Fire, offsetting the healing that the Death Knight and the Obsidian statues would normally be doing. Dark Ranger is also out onto the field as well. Black Arrows perhaps going to allow for more use of Dark Ritual as the Lich is at level 5, getting a level 1 hero refreshed and restarted. A little bit of a strange proposition now as we're looking at the flying machines off overhead. Paladin gets up to level 3 and he gets Vampiric Aura for now, the army of knights, as the Archmage must be suspecting, yeah, an expansion is up. All right, Crypt Fiend is spotted across over here. Let's take a look from behind. What's going to be happening? Stormbolt onto the Death Knight, or onto the Crypt Fiend, as we're now going to take a look. Well, one Abomination with Disease Cloud is more than enough. Paladin, is it going to try and Divine Shield? What is going to happen here? The Abomination is trying to follow it up. Death Knight getting picked up. Dark Ranger now gone. A Holy Light tries to save those units again. Lich trying to head back away. As you see, the Sundering Blades just dealing so much damage, felling all of those Crypt Fiends. Archmage could be in trouble, trying to head back every which way. Could end up getting taken down. Staff of Sanctuary saved by the Paladin. As we see the Knights still trying to push their way through. Banshees are out onto the field. There goes one Banshee. Water Elemental with that long distance splash, able to deal that damage. Meanwhile, Paladin back across over here. No priest to heal him up. Mountain King, no mana either. Abomination could get taken down right there. Let's take a look at this. Holy Light saves another unit. Death Coil saves the Abomination again. A wand, a mana stealing potion of less, or a divine shield now being used as a knight now gets taken down. All right, let's take a look. Banshee could get finished off there. There it goes. Paladin needs to back away, low on mana. Giving the wand of mana stealing to the Mountain King might actually be beneficial right now to try and finish off some of those units. The Vampiric Aura on the Paladin is also giving extra hit points as well. It really should be on the Mountain King at this point. The Paladin is just playing in this really far off spot right now that's not giving the aura to all of these units. That's the problem. Holy Light saves again, and this is just a narrow battle trying to push through here. All right, Crypt Fiend's able to get in some damage. Archmage shows up to the party, able to save some more units. Water Elemental is dropped back in. Paladin should be able to save some more units again. Death Knight down to thank you for the follow. Death Knight now trying to follow here. Mountain King could get taken down. It gets taken down, but the Death Knight, Scroll of Town Portal at 61 hit points. Are we going to see some follow-up death? That is the question. Knight able to stay alive at 66 hit points as the flying machines with their bombardment able to take down this expansion here. One very low hit point Acolyte trying to run away. The Disease Cloud causing so much problem, as this is absolutely crazy. Lich now back out onto the field as well. Players are in the top left-hand corner of this map. Romantic versus ER Ling, as the Necropolis will end up being saved. Death Knight still around as well. Death Knight at 5. Lich is at 5. All right, main base expansions are now gone. No Romantic considering setting up an expansion down here at the 6 o'clock spot. Lich, Dark Ranger, Death Knight, and the Undead army show up to say, you know what? I'm gonna take out your economy as well. What you see is what you're gonna get for quite a bit of time, as Romantic has, well, nothing that it can really do right now in order to set up a new base anywhere. All right, this expansion. The town hall will get lost. Let's take a look. A handful of buildings are left. Acolytes trying to make their way over. Peasants doing long distance mining with that walk of shame. But what really can be done, as well, there goes some acolytes there. Knight. Oh, are we going to see a Staff of Sanctuary? We should see a Staff of Sanctuary. Why not? Is it on cooldown? Yeah, big mistake right there, not being able to Staff of Sanctuary some of those units. there is no reason why you should not be Staff of Sanctuary units at this stage and point in the game. Also, not having any priest out, well, perhaps it was on cooldown. There you go, trying to Staff of Sanctuary unit. Paladin will pop back out, Staff of Sanctuary that night as well. And the Staff of Sanctuary may be the difference between victory and defeat here. The peasants actually walking back to this base because it was the closer of the two, not realizing that that town hall may not be there by the time they got back. Paladin about to make its way back out. Knights are 3-1 upgraded. Archmage sitting at level 5. Orb of Fire may want to be given to the Mountain King, as there are still a handful of destroyers out onto the field and also some obsidian statues. Armies are pretty much what you see is what you get at this point. Let's take a look. Yeah, another knight getting Staff of Sanctuary right there. And you can see Staff of Sanctuary doesn't actually heal all that quickly. It's going to take quite some time for that knight to make its way back out. Meanwhile, well, it looks as though I believe the Dark Ranger hiding right there is going to get closer and closer to level 3 as it finishes off this Troll High Priest. Lich should really be backing off. It might actually steal level 3 from the Dark Ranger if it's not careful. Well, nope, it was 1 experience shy anyways. All right. Mountain King's gonna get to 4. Paladin is going to, well, stay at level 3, but a big item should have been dropped right there. Was it a Ring of Regeneration? Mountain King doesn't have any items. That does come as a surprise. Archmage needs to back up here. There's the Death Coil. Thank you, Phobos on fire, as the Archmage now trying to back away here. Archmage could be in trouble. Scroll of Town Portal able to stay alive. Is going to be able to take out anything before the Scroll of Town Portal completes. No, it is not, as it now heads back home. All right, Archmage, very low on hit points. Paladin, gonna come across with a big holy light right there. Should be able to sneak on through. Archmage could fit, so should the Paladin. 54 supply compared to 47. Flying Machine still flying around looking for perhaps some easy units, but, well, the Crypt Fiends have been able to web down some units as well. Dark Ranger now up to level 3, and experience gain perhaps from that Flying Machine gave it level 3 right there. Knights now here, ready to go. Knights trying to push on through. The Abomination and that Disease Cloud really taking its toll on these Knights here. You can see it's just constantly losing hit points. Best caster, oh, thank you. As the Death Knight now looks to back away again. Abomination trying to chase again. Knights, are they going to be able to really surround any units? Stormbolt onto the Death Knight. Death Knight does have a potion of lesser invulnerability, as you can see them trying to chase down here. Mountain King could be in trouble, down to 812 hit points after the Holy Light heal, as you're seeing another Stormbolt deliver death onto a Crypt Fiend. Archmage chasing after these units again. Low hit point Knight purposely Staff of Sanctuary again as they continue to just dive across all these units. Knight low on hit points. I believe there's still 1 Staff of Sanctuary left. Cooldown from the Archmage. I believe the Mountain King is the only hero that doesn't have a Staff of Sanctuary, as they're still trying to push their way through. Flying Machines able to eat their way. 52 supply compared to 43. Death Knight is surrounded. Potion of lesser invulnerability needs to be used. There it goes, but the Paladin falls at level 3. Archmage trying to make its way through here. Let's take a look at this, trying to focus down more units. A big Frost Nova. Mountain King falls. Archmage is at 5. Death Knight and Lich both at level 6. And with this, I believe that is going to be GG, losing both heroes, and ER Ling gets the victory. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Hope you guys enjoyed that epic game right there. ER Ling with 2 level 6 heroes and a level 3 able to get that win.